Hi, I'm Ashi of The Final Bosses, and as you can tell from the title of the video, today we're going to be talking about Young Justice. I want to keep this intro short because this video might be a little lengthy, so with that out of the way, let's fight. So some of you might be wondering, Ashi, why are you telling us about a show that aired over 10 years ago? Or, what is Young Justice? Is that a Teen Titans ripoff? I tend to hear both of those a lot. Or, you might be saying, isn't comic stuff really complicated and hard to get into and watch? And I do hear that a lot, but I assure you, once you hear what I have to say about Young Justice, you'll want to give this show a shot. This show from over 10 years ago is more relevant today than I think it's ever been. Not to mention its continuation is going on, and there will be another season airing this year. So let's answer the question, what is Young Justice? Well, Young Justice is similar to the original 2002 Teen Titans, which a lot of you know, even my younger audience knows, you know, the one that Teen Titans Go bastardized. But Young Justice is actually more grounded in reality and more true to the comic. So it is a variation of the Teen Titans team, but again, it's a more realistic version to the comics. Now, that doesn't mean you need to know about the comics to enjoy it. By more grounded in the comics, I mean the 2002 Teen Titans was sort of more anime-esque and funny and pop-out, whereas Young Justice is more comic themed, serious, though it does have comedy, drama, and well-written characters. In fact, the comedy and drama is what makes this show so enjoyable and what makes so many people come back to watch it again and again. It's relevant even to today with the stories they tell and how they portray the characters. There's even LGBT representation, which I'll get into later on in the video. But yeah, so the first thing we're going to talk about will be the characters. Jump into those characters that we were talking about that make the story so great. There's Dick Grayson, aka Robin, aka Nightwing. To be exact, he's the first Robin. There's Kaldur, aka Aqualad. There's Wally West, aka Kid Flash. There's Superboy, aka Connor Kent, aka Kal-El, if you want to know his Kryptonian name. There's Megan, or Megan, aka Miss Martian, and there's Artemis, aka Artemis. Yes, her superhero name is the same as her first name. I think that's really weird too. And then there is Roy Harper, aka Red Arrow, or Speedy. Now, you'll notice I made very clear to say their human names, or their out-of-hero identities. That's because Young Justice does something that's actually truly amazing, that more superhero shows really need to do. That's, they show you the life of the hero outside of the mask as much as the life of the hero when they're wearing the mask. So most of the time, people like Superman or Batman are seen as these untouchable gods of no emotion who fight crime and have these unbreakable compasses of just morality. But these are teenagers. They're growing up. They're learning how to be on their own, to be superheroes. We get to watch them. Their outside drama of when they're not wearing the mask and cowls is just important as when they are taking on the heroic front. And it kind of bleeds into each other and makes for this wonderful, dramatic story between their real lives and their counterpart to being human, which is something you don't usually see from like the Justice League, because they're basically God. But these are just kids. These are teenagers learning to be heroes, and none of them want to give up their humanity for the life of a hero. They want to be a hero, but they want to keep what makes them them also. Basic premise of the story I'm not going to go too much into because I don't want to give away too much story, but basically it's about sidekicks going out on their own and forming their own team and working together, building bonds. And there are more heroes that come and join later on in the series besides these that I've named here. These are just the primary main ones that you follow for the first two seasons. Now, later on you do get Beast Boy and other heroes like Zatanna, and there are plenty of cool cameos. You get to watch relationships that build so naturally. I can't tell you how well the relationships build. And you can even get hints of the earlier sort of sexualities and LGBT representation that the creators had to hide originally because of back when the show first came out they couldn't show it, but by the time season 3 aired in 2019 they were allowed to, and a lot of theories that fans had were confirmed, such as Aqualad, aka Kaldur, being bisexual, which was a long-running theory. Fun fact about Kaldur, by the way, he's one of those few characters who transcends animation. He was a character made only for Young Justice that then later became canon in the comic book, similar to Harley Quinn and Mr. Freeze. I love characters that do that. He is so well written, and his discovery of his bisexuality makes sense, and it's such a touching story. I don't want to go into too many details, again, it's spoiler territory, but I think you'll love it. And also, you get to watch these characters age up, and I mean age up. There are 3 time skips, one at the end of season 1 and one at the end of season 2, and you get to watch them grow so naturally, and the relationships grow so naturally. Some of them even, have kids, give up the superhero life. Some of them try to date while having the life. It's wonderful. You really need to give the show a shot. If you're willing to watch the first 5 episodes of this show, I guarantee you the characters will hook you, and then the stories and actions will keep you there watching them grow. I promise you that. This is the part of the video where I say spoiler warning, but it's not actually a spoiler warning. What I'm going to talk about here is something that I think will help you enjoy the show more. You don't need to know this to enjoy the show. But there was a game that takes place in between season 1 and season 2 that's really hard to get information on, and it's hard to find. It came out in like 2011. I think it was for like the Xbox 360 and maybe the PS3. I can't remember. But a lot of the information in this game does give you some provided backstory and fill in some dots in the show. So hearing this part and then watching the show will probably make the show more enjoyable. And then there's a couple of slight comic facts that they don't directly tell you in the show that I think might make it more enjoyable that I'm going to give you guys. So with that out of the way, let's get this going. First thing we're going to talk about is something that might be simple to some of you but might not be simple to others. Notice I said Dick Grayson is the first Robin. That's because there are 3 other Robins outside of Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson is the Robin that we follow in Season 1. In Season 2, he is Nightwing, and the Robin we follow is Tim Drake. Tim Drake is the 3rd Robin. That's because sometime in between the time skip during the game, the events of a comic book story called Death of the Family takes place, and which the 2nd Robin, Jason Todd, is killed. Now, they never show you this in the show. They just jump straight to Tim Drake and show you a statue of a dead Robin, who you don't know the name of, unless you obviously know who Jason Todd is. Now, speaking of Jason Todd and death in comics, death doesn't usually really stick in comic, and we get a silhouette of what might be a revived Jason Todd in Season 3, which is canon with the story Death of the Family, because he does get revived in Death of the Family only as an anti-hero / villain. What I want to talk about is Aqualad, aka Calder, his friend Garth, and his friend Tula. Now, in the story, we do get to meet Garth and Tula, 2 of Aqualad's oldest friends, Tula being the girl he originally loved, but in the games, you get to actually play with them as part of your team. Now, in Season 2, you see a statue of Tula in the room of all the other dead heroes, and you don't really know how she dies, and it doesn't explain it in the show. And in Season 3, Garth and Aqualad are dating. That's because Tula dies in the game, and when she dies, Aqualad is so heartbroken at the loss of his first love, he takes solace with his best friend who also loved her, and while they were consoling each other, they realized that their love for each other was more than friendship too, and they started dating somewhere between that time skip after the game and Season 3. I think that's about everything I need to explain. The rest of it's smaller details or stuff you can figure out on your own as you watch it, and again, I told you that the LGBT stuff will come in Season 3 without going into too many details. There will be bisexual characters, gay characters, lesbian characters, and a non-binary character who I love them. They are amazing. So I hope you'll give the show a shot, and if you like this kind of content and you want more, like more obscure shows or shows that you could watch that are older, let me know and leave a comment, and if you enjoyed the video, subscribe, and as always, this has been Ashi of The Final Bosses.